I write the snake letter. This is Channel 5 News. I'm Lil Stevie. Today we have the opportunity to speak with former Secretary of State, political activist Hillary Clinton. Welcome to our show.
Thank you for having me.
So, Hillary, what was your childhood like?
I grew up in Park Ridge, Illinois, with my mother Dorothy, my father Hugh, and my two brothers Tony and Hugh. I had a very disciplined lifestyle, which led me to be in the National Honor Society, and I went on to be an undergraduate at Wesley College. I remember it blissfully. At graduation, I spoke to the student body saying, "The challenge now is to practice politics as the art of making what appears to be impossible, possible."
As I understand, you were raised in a pretty conservative family. What made you change your beliefs?
Well, I was very involved with politics growing up. So, I think that's when I started seeing different views and agreeing more and more with Democratic politicians than with my own family's views.
Interesting. So when did you meet Bill?
I met Bill when I was studying at Yale Law School. At the time I met him, I was part of the board of editors of Yale Review and Social Action. After I graduated, I advised the Children's Defense Fund in Cambridge. When I was done, I followed my heart to Kansas. That's where Bill started his political career.
Well, why don't you tell us a little bit more about you and your husband, Bill?
We got married in 1975, which is when I joined the staff of the University of Arkansas's law school. I joined the Rose Law Firm a year later, where I played a large role as a lawyer. 3 years later, we were married. Bill became the governor of Arkansas. While he was in office, our beautiful daughter Chelsea was born. After being the First Lady of Arkansas for 12 years, I became an advocate in the Children's Defense Fund. I also took part in the Arkansas Advocates for Children and Families. Without the support of my wonderful husband, I don't think I'd be where I am today. He has a huge influence on my life, and I hope I have been the same to his.
So,
Are you all right?
So, I see your husband has had a large effect on your political views. Why don't you talk about your involvement in the United States government?
Well, actually, I'm not only involved in the U.S.'s, but many countries' international affairs. When Bill became president in 1992, I got the opportunity to travel to 79 different countries, including Pakistan, Iraq, and New Zealand. It was a wonderful experience for me because I was able to help many women get social, economic, and political rights. These women taught me a lot and helped me realize how lucky we are to live in America. While I was in office as Secretary of State, I got to go through many experiences. One distinct event I remember while I was running the state was the Benghazi attacks. This was a very difficult time in the United States, as 4 of our people were killed in a controversial attack on the United States base in Benghazi. Investigations are still occurring to get as much information as possible. I take full responsibility for the acts that occurred, as I was the leader of the department which could have kept them alive. I think I showed a lot of strength and stability after the incident, which helped Americans through the tough time, though that is no excuse. I think this was the largest failure I have ever dealt with in my entire life, and I will always live by it.
Well, I really appreciate your insight on these events. So, are there any other events that are memorable to you?
Well, many things occurred while I was the Secretary of State, both good and bad. One thing that I remember was traveling to Haiti after the earthquake. This was both good and bad because though there was drought that destroyed their country, it brought their people together and made them stronger. I learned how even the worst things can turn out good in the end. I fondly remember meeting President Preval after I got off the plane. We talked about ways that we could aid those who needed it most, and how we could get shelter to use as a hospital.
It seems like you showed a lot of coordination and strength when you visited there.
A lot of coordination was needed to help rebuild what they lost. But as far as strength, the people of Haiti showed the most strength as they lived through the pain, and it made their country a stronger place, better for all.
Very interesting, Hillary. You have a very selfless point of view. So would you mind discussing the involvement in the peace between the Israel and Arab militants and the Gaza Strip?
Well, there was an outbreak of violence between these two groups, and I put all diplomatic strategies on the table in order to help them make a treaty. I spent many hours with Egypt's new leader to create a deal which both groups would be happy. This also helped keep the peace treaty strong between themselves and Israel. Excuse me.
Sorry, just Snapchatting. What characteristics of leadership would you say you showed during this event?
I think I showed a lot of sophistication and confidence. I brought everything I had to offer, and we worked together to make things right between these two lizards.
So, what was it like leaving the Secretary of State?
When I left my position in February of last year, I was sad to say goodbye, but I realized with moving on, there will be a new chapter in my life, though I will still be involved in politics.
Well, Hillary, it's been a pleasure and a complete honor to have you here, and I hope that you enjoy taking this time off.
Again, thank you.
After break, we will be joined by two comical entertainers who will talk about their upcoming movie. This is Channel 5 News. I'm Little Stevie. Don't want to hear the truth? Don't come to the news! Well, this is the Merry News. Good night, folks! Addicted to the pipe, folks. He'll become a newsman.